Hello, welcome to the channel. So today in this video we would be covering the topic salient features of Constitution of India. So firstly I would like to give a brief description on what is Constitution of India. A Constitution of India is considered to be one of the greatest landmarks in the annals of history. It was adopted by Constituent Assembly on 26 November 1949 and signed by the President Dr. Rajendra Prasad. It came into force on 26 January 1950 and this is considered called as the date of commencement of the Constitution. The Constitution of India is one among the long and detailed document and it is considered to be the fundamental law of the land. It describes the functions and interrelations of major governmental institutions. It also defines the political philosophy of our people and their socio-economic ideals and aspirations. Now we are coming to our topic, which is salient features of Constitution of India. The first one is that it is cream of several constitutions of the world, which means that it has gained its experience from all over the other constitutions of the world. They framed the chapter on the fundamental rights on the model of American Constitution, and also it was has adopted parliamentary system of government from the UK's constitution. And they took the and India took the idea of directive principle of state policy from the Constitution of Ireland, which had copied it from the Spanish Constitution. Thus, we can actually call it as a cream of several constitutions of the world, and it has been evolving from different textures of constitution of the world all across. Second one is the length. It is considered to be the lengthiest of all written constitution, which we have said previously when we are explaining about the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India is the lengthiest and most detailed of all the written constitution of the world. The Indian Constitution originally has 395 articles divided into 22 parts and 8 schedules. But after the Constitution came 103rd Amendment Act 2019, there were 469 articles in operation. The Constitution has now been divided into 25 parts and 12 schedules. It is to be noted that even now the last article is 395 and we arrive at the figure 469 only when we count all the articles one by one, taking into account the newly inserted articles and repealed articles. Now the third point is that it lays down the structures of central and state government, which means that the Indian Constitution lays down the structure of the central government and the state governments. The American Constitution allows the states to draw up their own constitution. It provides only for the central government. But India is not just like American Constitution, it is an exact opposite of it. Fourth one is providing for single citizenship. In Indian Constitution, it only provides for it actually provides for dual polity, that is central and state, but it does not provide for dual citizenship, which means that in India all the rights are enjoyed similar for the state and central government. There is no different kind of dual citizenship, but in America Constitution provides for dual citizenship, which means that citizenship of America and a state citizenship. In India, there is no partiality for this and only provides a single kind of citizenship for the whole of India. Now the fifth point is that establishing parliamentary form of government. Our Constitution of India establishes a parliamentary form of government, both at the centre and state. The parliamentary form envisaged in the Indian Constitution is drafted on the British model of Toto. Now the sixth point is fundamental rights. Part 3 of our Indian Constitution gives a long list of fundamental rights. It is deemed to be a distinguishing feature of a democratic state. You would be probably knowing the fundamental rights which we have learned in the previous chapters. These rights are prohibitions against the state. The states cannot make a law which takes away or fights against any rights of citizens guaranteed in the Part 3 of Indian Constitution. If a law violates any kind of fundamental rights of ours, then the Supreme Court and the High Court can declare it as unconstitutional. For example, everyone has the right to speak or right to expression, and if that is being violated by any government, this has to be taken seriously, and the Supreme Court and the High Court can declare any act that is being given that is coming against these kind of freedoms. Seventh point is directive principles of state policy. Directive principles contained in Part 4 of Constitution lay down certain economic and social policies to be followed by the various governments in India. They impose certain obligations on the state to take positive action in certain directions in order to promote the welfare of people and achieve economic democracy. Eighth point is that an independent judiciary. Our Indian Constitution provides for the establishment of an independent and impartial judiciary with the power of a judicial review. The courts are the custodians of the rights of citizens. Last one is fundamental duties. This point says that Article 51A of the Indian Constitution deals with the fundamental duties. The duties are incorporated in the Constitution by our 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Originally, there was only 10 fundamental duties. After the Constitution Act 2002, the Constitution of India now contains a code of 11 fundamental duties for citizens. So now there is 11 fundamental duties for citizens, and these duties require the citizens to observe certain basic norms of democratic conduct and democratic behaviors. So we will be concluding our topic by saying I will say this salient features of Constitution of India again so that you can remember this. So first point was cream of several constitutions of the world. Second one was that it is the lengthiest of all written constitutions. Third one was that it lays down structure of central and state government. Fourth point was providing for single citizenship. Fifth point was establishing a parliamentary form of government. Sixth point was fundamental rights. Seventh one was directive principles of state policy. Eighth point was an independent judiciary, and ninth one was a fundamental duty.